it's the Vulgar one here coming to you today with a leaked script of Ezra Miller's Flash movie. Looks like amongst all the controversy, we got even more controversy because the entire script has been leaked courtesy of comicbookmovies.com. So I'm going to go through the entire article, read some of the things they talk about, what's going to happen in this movie, and give some of my thoughts and opinions. But before we do that, you know what it is. Please like and subscribe. Really appreciate some of the love y'all are showing. Thanks a ton. Alright, for those who don't know, Ezra Miller lately has been wrapped up in some of the wildest shit that we've probably seen in recent times in Hollywood, considering it's Hollywood. But homie's been accused of some grooming allegations. Homie's been out there posting some weirdo shit, talking about you can't catch me, I'm in another universe. Homie has been stating he, them, they, all them in between, and he's a commie, and he was trying to kill the KKK at one point. Yo, Ezra Miller is wild, and I'll be real, admittedly, you know, back in his perks of being a wallflower days, and, you know, even up to The Flash, like, I didn't have much quorum with the guy. I mean, I still don't really do. I mean, I do think he's kind of a weirdo, and he's playing the whole them they card like a motherfucker out there. You know, it's more powerful than the race card, but that's another story. But simply put, you know, amongst all this drama that's been going on with him, I'm not surprised somebody just leaked this fucking script. I think, honestly, they're probably going to just dump this movie on HBO Max or just say, fuck it. Maybe they might even start over entirely or reshoot it. You know, it kind of depends on if they actually value this script and story. And that's what we'll go over. I mean, like, we'll read some of this and we'll see, like, is it even worth, you know, refilming, reshooting with somebody new? Or should they just do a whole new deal with it? I mean, at this rate, with the DCEU where it's at, I mean, you don't want to waste the money, so that's why I see them dumping it on HBO Max. But at the same time, the fuck else are they going to do? Like, they're kind of in shambles. Should have stuck with the Snyderverse and, hell, just replace Ezra Miller in there. I kind of saw what Zack Snyder was going for with the whole Barry, but sort of act like Wally from Justice League Unlimited kind of version of him. But hey, you can get other better Flashes, like many people have been asking for. Grant Gustafson, I think it is. No, that's the fighter. Damn, I forgot the dude that plays him on the Flash TV show. Maybe it is Gustafson, but I think that's the UFC fighter. Anywho, that guy, they wanted him to be the new Flash to replace Ezra Miller, and hey, couldn't go wrong there. The dude can act. Kind of has the Barry-like feel, you know. Fuck it, go with Wally. I don't know, but DC, Warner Brothers, you got to do something. All right, so comicbookmovie.com headline: The Flash's movie's entire plot is leaked online. Here's a breakdown of what happens. So it looks like they just kind of give you some of the bullet points, and I'll try not to make this too long, but I'll read what some of the, as they quote here, massive spoilers are. So, number 10, The Justice League. Warner Bros. Is developing a habit of delivering a trimmed-down Justice League. Peacemaker gave us Aquaman and the Flashmaker. Or the Flashmaker. Sorry. The Flash with the rest of the team hidden in the shadow. And this film also looks set to deliver just a partial group of heroes. Following a terrorist attack that sees the criminals take refuge in a hospital, the Scarlet Speedster races into action and gets a helping hand from Ben Affleck's Dark Knight. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman also appears for a small cameo that only consists for a few minutes, though this is meant to be the League in action rather than a random team-up. Bruce and Barry have formed quite a bond since we last saw them, and Batman later offers his fellow hero, who is dejected that his father remains in prison, a very important piece of advice. Now, on its heels, you know, I mean, this is obviously, if anyone knows Flash and kind of what they were going for and hell the name of the movie, they are doing the Flashpoint. I do like that they are trying to show Barry and Bruce with that bond. That's kind of cool. But again, it kind of leads into what I was just saying. Like, you can replace him and still do this story if you would like. You know, at least up to this point. I mean, either way, I think it's going to be an expensive loss. But, you know, like, on its heels, that's not a bad starting point, I would say. So, number 9, time travel, which I'm actually a big fan of in movies. I love me some time travel. When the Flash suggests he could travel back in time as he did in Zack Snyder's Justice League, Batman warns him that doing so could have dire consequences for the universe. Desperate to save his father and bring his mother back, Barry ignores him and ends up traveling through the Speed Force after figuring out how to save her. Racing back in time, the fastest man alive sees what's described as a Colosseum setting that is representative of a time vortex. A monstrous creature stares back at him and gives chase, but not before Barry gets what he needs to. Or he thinks. Or so he thinks. After blacking out, the hero wakes up. It's 2013. So yeah, just kind of like this picture. So it shows, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like the Black Racer or somebody was chasing him when he was fucking around in the Speed Force. And I had skipped this part, but this is something actually I think is kind of important. It says apparent confirmation that version of the film is now considered canon. Yes, in the Josh Whedon version, Barry didn't do any kind of time travel. They really side-saddled him. They didn't know what to do with his powers. And again, this is why the Zack Snyder movie should have been canon. Zack Snyder at least knew what to do with the characters. I mean, fuck. Justice League, some of the most powerful mofos in comic book histories. I'm sorry, they're trouncing the Avengers. Like, Superman alone is trouncing the Avengers, but when you add all the other powers and that they have, they're doing damage. They're doing damage. And Zack Snyder, I think, really did show that well. So it's kind of funny that they are going back to that canon, because obviously he had a plan and DC doesn't have a plan, and they're fucking up whatever plan sort of existed. Alright, number 8. The other Barry Allen. Now in the past, Barry comes face to face with his younger self. Ezra Miller plays both versions of the character. Though past Barry has yet to receive the powers that made him the Flash, the Scarlet Speedster's mom is also still alive, and the future Barry decides the best way to save her is to teach his younger self how to use the Speed Force, thereby avoiding doing any further damage to the timeline. It just so happens this is the day Barry gets his powers, so they head to the lab and prepare for the past version to be hit by the fateful lightning strike. Things go wrong, though, because future Barry being there means he's in the way of the blast, and both of them are hit. The Flash loses his powers, though past Barry still gains them. The problem now is that the Flash is stuck in the past. Interesting. That's not too bad. Let's just go on. The new Batman. Future Barry knows he screwed up and decided to find the Justice League. The problem is they don't exist yet. Superman is having issues with the U.S. government. Wonder Woman is still on Themyscira, and Aquaman is still more than a rumor. Bruce Wayne is out there, though, so after training the past Barry, the two heroes set off for Wayne Manor. Both Scarlet Speedsters believe Ben Affleck's Bruce is the one they'll meet, but Wayne Manor no longer looks like Wayne Manor. It's the version of the mansion from Tim Burton's Batman movies, and when they find Bruce, he's an old man with a gray beard and unkempt hair who is cooking spaghetti. You want to get nuts? The Michael Keaton version of the heroes ask. Oh, Jesus. Once things calm down, the Barrys explain The Barrys explain what happens, and the Cape Crusader comes to the conclusion that the Flash traveling back in time has broken the universe, hence why he's now in the wrong reality. So it's more emerging at timelines in a different world. So this, obviously, from the last point and this point, where it does diverge from the original Flashpoint comic book and animated movie, if they followed it pretty well to a T, which they normally do. So there wasn't two Barrys. Barry went back in time, fucked up the universe, more or less is living a new life, if I'm remembering right. It has been a year. Flashpoint was a really good story, if not kind of DC's inevitable downfall, because that was a universe changer, which led into the next universe change. I think that led into New 52. And New 52 wasn't bad. I think that was like underwear-less Superman. And there were some gripes I had about that universe, but it wasn't the shit show we have now. Couple things, though, about this point here, though, that made me kind of laugh is, like I said, the Barrys. Are they taking cues from fucking Spider-Man? You know, Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3, Peter Darker? You know, like, that's what it kind of seems they're going for. And while that's not a bad thing, I don't necessarily know if you want to be known for being, you know, what to say, reminiscent of that other movie. I mean, look, all superhero movies, all superhero lore from the two companies, they can merge. They can be very, very similar. So it's not a bad thing that, Green Arrow, Hawkeye. We know what it is, but it's not going to be good for your bottom dollar, especially amongst all these rumors. Now, also, I don't know why they had to mention that he was cooking spaghetti and he has a line talking about you want to go nuts. But that seems like a bit of that quirky humor that they're going to try to add in, and I'm not looking forward to that. All right, next we got General Zod's return. Not only is this the time Barry got his powers, it's also the day General Zod first invades Earth. Oh, that's kind of cool. Michael Shannon is back as the Man of Steel villain, and both versions of the Flash decide they need to get to Superman before he's handed over to his fellow Kryptonian, as Kal-El can potentially help get future Barry back home. Keaton's Dark Knight initially wants no part of this, but changes his mind. The Batcave is shown, and there are a bunch of alternate bat suits on display, similar to Iron Man's Hall of Armor. See, like, why? That's dumb. Come on, guys. Batman has had that too. Why would you even compare that? Whatever. That's probably just the writer. Batman, who has a number of trophies from the past battles, figures out that the multiple timelines have started to converge and figures out where Superman is being held. After breaking into the facility, this is another example of how the timeline is being changed, as Supes wasn't held captain in his 2013 origin story. That's true. The trio doesn't find Superman, it's Supergirl instead. Dun dun dun. Here we go. You know what it is. Yeah, we had already seen the leaks of Supergirl. Like, we already kind of knew this. We knew DC was not trying to, give the fans what they want in Henry Cavill. I mean, I can't imagine him asking for too much money that they wouldn't be willing to pay. I can't imagine The Witcher being so much time consuming, and it's not like he was out there doing other roles where he got fat. And look, the mustache controversy, I don't know. I don't know why they wanted to shy away from him other than agenda purposes. But as Point 5 shows, Superman is dead. Taking Supergirl back to Wayne Manor, they learn that Superman died on the way to Earth. His cousin did make it to the planet, though, and General Zod's mission remains the same. The group comes to the conclusion they need to stop Zod. After all, there's no Superman to stop him this time, but with future Barry minus his powers, Batman comes up with an idea to give this group a little extra power. There's a thunderstorm outside, and just like in Flashpoint, the Dark Knight straps the Scarlet Speedster into an electric chair atop the Wayne Manor. Future Barry is electrocuted but doesn't become the Flash. Dejected, he begins to lose hope until Supergirl, now suited up, flies him into the sky into the lightning. Unfortunately, it appears to kill him. Thankfully, after past Barry touches him, the hero is powered up again. Okay. Yeah, I still don't know why they would want to kill this, version of it. Maybe because Flashpoint Superman was all skinny and malnourished, and maybe they didn't want to de-skinnyify Henry Cavill. I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird. And, speaking on Supergirl, I don't know if they'll get to her. I don't know why they decided to change up the hair. I mean, it just looks like they went for a girl version of a Henry Cavill instead of, like, a blonde, like how Supergirl is. So that is kind of dumb, but whatever. The final battle. Heading to the desert to confront Zod, future Barry dons his new past self's new costume. The younger hero, meanwhile, dons a modified version of one of Batman's bat suits, seen in the banner image at the top of this feature. Zod demands Superman, but no one knows what he's talking about because the Man of Steel no longer exists in this reality. So yeah, like, if he doesn't exist in this reality, what the fuck is Zod from another reality? And would he be asking for Superman, or would he just be asking for the baby that was sent here? Whatever. The villain kills General Swanwick, aka the Martian Manhunter, and unleashes the World Engine then and there. A huge battle ensures, and Zod is ultimately defeated without a single casualty in Metropolis. Really? Without a single casualty, huh? Okay, well. Is that a shot to Zack Snyder? I mean, I don't know if anybody was really dying in that movie like that, but I did like the carnage because realism. Unfortunately, Keaton's Dark Knight is badly injured, and as a future Barry apologizes for bringing him into this fight, Bruce expresses gratitude for reminding him how to be... Bruce? Wouldn't he be Thomas? Shouldn't he be Thomas Wayne? Like, are we just... Is it... So it's just... alright, whatever. I guess if you're... It's Flashpoint, but not Flashpoint. Whatever. The assumption is that he dies here, but there's still one more big twist to come. The Flash's sacrifice. I do kind of like this outfit, by the way. Like, it's not a bad one. Before we get to that, we need to go back to an earlier point in The Flash. As we mentioned, Barry's mother is still alive in 2013, though her death is imminent. The hero figures out that to save her, he simply needs to remove all the cans of tomato sauce from the convenience store she visited prior to her murder, meaning she'd have to shop elsewhere. I guess. As a result, his mom wouldn't be cooking dinner when her killer struck, thereby stopping that mysterious event from ever taking place. However, in order to fix time before traveling home, future Barry must put those cans back to ensure her death does happen. It's a tragic reveal, though he does get a touching moment with her in costume before fixing things. So, he tries to save her, but then he goes, I guess he's trying to fix it, go back, I guess. I don't know. Because, Flashpoint is literally him going back, saving his mom, and that was kind of like, he's trying to live in that life, but whatever. Heading back into 2020, the Scarlet Speedster once again travels to the Speed Force and realizes the creature he saw was a monstrous version of himself from the future. Had he not made things right, Barry would have been corrupted and a crisis in the universe would have taken place. With that, he resolves to accept his mother's death and help free his father. Okay, all right, I guess we're back in order. A cliffhanger ending. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. It just looks like they wanted to get any chick, and I think this looks more like some concept art with the chick's head on it, but still looks like they wanted to go fucking get a female version of Henry Cavill instead of, a woman. Everything seems normal and appears the damage caused by the Flash's trip through time was undone when he realized sacrificing his mother's life was key to saving reality. It appears there is evidence that could exonerate Henry Allen, and it looks like Barry has got a happy ending. The same Mercedes-Benz that originally pulled up before Affleck's Bruce Wayne's emerged to warn his fellow hero not to toy with time appears. But it's Keaton's billionaire who steps out this time. Supergirl also appears, though neither of them should be here. Barry is perplexed as putting those cans back should have made things right. I really went in on the food humor, aren't you guys? Just like modern comics. Neither knows what they're doing there, but a new DC Extended Universe has clearly been created where they exist in place of Batfleck and Henry Cavill's Superman. With that, the film ends, but there's one final tease. Crisis is coming. Jason Momoa finally makes a cameo appearance as Aquaman in a post-credits scene that shows Barry helping a drunk Arthur Curry leave a bar. Racing home to grab something that can sober his fellow hero up, there's suddenly a distress call coming through on the Scarlet Speedster's computer. He watches it and a video message from Affleck's Batman. Oh, and it's a video message from Affleck's Batman. He pleads with the Flash for help, making it clear he needs to be rescued after the hero changed the timeline and broke reality. It's unclear how the mechanics of all this work, but it looks like Barry's next mission will be saving the DCEU's original Batman and what could be taken on Crisis as Infinite Earth. Okay, well, that's interesting. That is very, very interesting. Alright, so, off top, it's not the worst thing that I've read. And it's only a quick little synopsis of it. There could be bits of dialogue and writing that make it actually well. That being said, I think the major problem that's gonna come from this is the whole, replacing aspect of it. Michael Keaton's Batman is not enough to get people into the DCEU. The new Supergirl, whoever the fuck she is not going to be enough to get us into the DCEU. The fact that is you have two likable people, Henry Cavill being extremely likable by the masses and Ben Affleck actually being praised for his Batman. It's almost like a dig at the end where they're like Batfleck, and it's like, yeah, I get what you mean, but this man looked like Bruce Wayne, Batman, more than anyone, put on the muscles, had the look, actually played the Playboy side of it really well, and played the Dark Knight of it really well, whereas, George Clooney was just a good Bruce Wayne, not a good Batman, and Robert Pattinson was actually a better Batman than he was a Bruce Wayne. Now, he was just emo Bruce, and maybe he could be a better Playboy Bruce, but we'll see if we ever get to that point. But Next to Christian Bale in the live action stuff, I'm putting on my money on Ben Affleck. He's the number two best Batman out there. Sans Kevin Conroy, and honestly, and sans all the controversy, this movie might not have been that bad. But you add up all the controversy that Ezra Miller is going through right now. It doesn't look like this is going to be a good thing. It looks like there's a lot going on here with time travel and everything, obviously. So this might be some expensive research shoots. It might be a little too expensive of just of a dump as well. I don't know if DC really, really wants to do that. I'd still be down to watch it. I am curious to see where they were going to go after the greatness that was the Zack Snyder Justice League. Like, I don't care what anyone says, and, love or hate Zack Snyder, that man is a fan's filmmaker, okay? Like, that man reads the source material, likes the source material, and makes good movies about it, Zack Snyder's Justice League had really good, film techniques that made that movie feel like a comic book movie, Same thing with Batman v Superman. You're watching that, and there's just great overlapping dialogue, like how in a comic book, the thought bubble of a conversation is going on to the next panel, and it's a different image, used to, juxtapose or conjoin some matching themes. And Zack Snyder does that really well in those movies, among other things, too. In my opinion, those are really good comic book movies. I think those are way better movies overall than the Marvel movies. Those are just good films. And maybe one day when everybody finally gets their head up out of Disney's ass and Marvel's ass and realize there's other things than quips and fucking Iron Man, like Star-Lord and all that bullshit, maybe they'll understand, like, oh, hey, this was actually really well done. This was actually a labor of love, and we were just too busy sucking on the teat of the mouse to realize that. But overall, maybe it could have been well. There are some things that does concern me. Like I said, a lot of weird food humor, and I don't know if the writer was just noticing that, but that is something that's indicative of odd woke culture, as they like to make jokes of food because it's safe, I would assume. So that's going to be kind of interesting. Whether they release it, dump it on HBO Max, or just, and honestly, at this point, I'd be okay with just them starting over again. But you got, Michael Keaton. I don't know, there's a lot of movie money they put into this. So I put my money on they might just say, fuck it, we got to just hide Ezra Miller until it's time to release this. And they'll just either release it. There is a chance they could reshoot with a new person. I don't know. There's a lot they could do. I don't know if this was going to, even without the controversy, I don't know if this movie would have hit it out the park. There is potential here, but I think the fact that they're obviously focusing on restarting and making new universes, that whole thing, I think that's going to be to their downfall. You had something good with Zack Snyder's crew. And I know they're trying to get rid of anything reminiscent of Zack Snyder, but you had good character people, they had the look. When you looked at everybody in their suits, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, hell, even Barry, even Ezra Miller. Most people say he's not Barry, and I would agree. I'd say he's more of a Wally, but I think, in Zack Snyder's version of it, and Cyborg too, I forgot about him, they all fit the bill really well. It was some good acting by everybody, good script writing. So I think they had something, and I think because there's remnants of it, and maybe that's why I'm like, okay, maybe there's something here. And I like the Flashpoint story. I think it was a really cool one. But I think the whole, let's move to the DCEU, let's bring back some more nostalgia bait with Michael Keaton, I think that's something that's going to harm it, and they're probably potentially going to cater to that more, and just try to bank on girl power and nostalgia bait. And that's where it probably could fall. The concept of time traveling and fucking things up universal wise is always kind of cool and fun. And admittedly, I think a Flashpoint movie would have been better served after, another Justice League movie or another good Wonder Woman movie, Aquaman 2 actually being released. More time to actually love and like these characters. Because the thing started off talking about we're trying to show you that the Justice League teams up together and does their missions, blah, 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 all that bullshit. I think you got to show them do that more than one movie and then a remake or the original version of that movie. So yeah, I don't know. I think they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot. Ezra Miller has been shooting himself in the foot, and God, I hope that nothing bad happens with him or the children he's running around with or whatever. You know, one is 18. This is all alleged. One could be a scammer, and one could just be a misunderstanding. And, you know, in a lot of ways, you kind of hope it's not true. You know, I mean, I know he's kind of a weirdo, but I ain't got nothing against the dude. Just stop saying weird shit. But best of luck to it. I hope it doesn't suck. If anything, all right. I will say this: the fact that Ben Affleck's Batman is still there and they're teasing a crisis, maybe they are leaving the door open for Henry Cavill and Batman to come back. Maybe even Zack Snyder in a way, if you think about it. But the fact that they're not closing the door on that universe, I respect it. If anyone seen the Justice League version, it's not Zack Snyder's version of it, and you watch the end of it, it's like, yo, there was something gold here. There was something really cool coming here. And maybe they still want it. Maybe they don't. I'm okay with them kind of keeping it around. I don't like being teased. That's not cool. But, I think they would be dumb to let that go. So we'll see. Best of luck, DC. Honestly, superheroes are dead. But I'll give it a try if the trailer looks good. If they don't just dump the movie. Please like and subscribe. You know what it is. Vulgar, desperado, jabber jaws. Peace.